Your arteries don't get clogged in a day. It happens slowly, meal after meal, year after year, until one day your doctor mentions high cholesterol, or you feel winded after climbing a single flight of stairs. Over time, plaque builds up silently, narrowing your arteries and making it harder for your heart to push blood through. The result? High blood pressure, poor circulation, and a growing risk of heart attack or stroke. But here's the good news. Your body can heal when you give it the right tools. Just like certain foods can harm your arteries, others can actually help clean them out, removing buildup, reducing inflammation, and improving blood flow. And some of the most powerful of these foods aren't exotic or expensive. They're simple seeds you can find in any grocery store. In this video, we're going to look at 6 of the best seeds proven to clean your arteries, lower blood pressure, and protect your heart from disease. Each of these seeds is packed with nutrients that support your cardiovascular system, helping to balance cholesterol, reduce plaque, and even strengthen the walls of your arteries. You'll learn how they work inside your body, what makes them so effective, and how you can easily add them to your meals every day. By the end, you'll see how small daily habits, like adding a spoonful of the right seeds to your diet, can make a big difference in keeping your heart healthy and strong. So if you're ready to take charge of your heart health, type A1 in the comments, or a 0 if you think clogged arteries are just an unavoidable part of aging. Let's begin with the first seed. It's tiny, packed with omega-3s, and has been shown to reduce artery blockage by improving your blood's ability to flow freely. Number 1, flaxseed. Start with a simple habit that you can keep every day. Ground flaxseed, 1 or 2 tablespoons a day, is an easy addition that reaches 3 of the main things doctors watch when they think about clogged arteries. First, it supplies soluble fiber that helps lower LDL, or the so-called bad cholesterol, by trapping it in the gut, so some of it leaves the body instead of being reabsorbed. Second, it is one of the best plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is a type of omega-3. ALA nudges inflammation down and helps the inner lining of your blood vessels work better. Third, flaxseed contains lignans, plant compounds that act like mild antioxidants and interact with hormonal systems in ways that have been tied to lower risk markers in long-term studies. When you put those 3 effects together, the result is not a sudden cure, but a steady push toward cleaner arteries and lower risk of heart events over months to years. Studies that pooled many trials show consistent falls in total cholesterol and LDL after regular flaxseed use, and measurable, though smaller, falls in systolic blood pressure when people started with high readings. If you want numbers that matter, a practical daily dose in many trials was about 20 to 50 grams a day of whole or ground flaxseed. That is roughly 1.5 to 4 tablespoons, depending on how finely it is ground. With programs in this dose range, researchers measured small but meaningful falls in LDL that add up when maintained. For blood pressure, the pooled evidence shows average falls of around 1 to 3 millimeters of mercury in mixed groups and larger drops in people who already had high blood pressure. Those are the same kinds of moves that doctors cite when they explain why diet changes are worth doing. Small changes in LDL and small sustained falls in systolic pressure reduce the lifetime chance of a heart attack and stroke. The effect is slower than a pill and smaller than a prescription statin in absolute size, but it is real and cumulative when combined with a heart-healthy diet. How you use ground flaxseed determines how much your body absorbs. Whole intact seeds pass through your gut mostly undigested and give you some fiber benefit, but little ALA and lignan absorption. Grinding releases the oil and the plant compounds. Do not buy a huge pre-ground bag and leave it at room temperature because the oils oxidize. Buy whole seeds, grind small batches in a coffee grinder or blender, and keep the powder in the fridge for up to a month. Stir it into yogurt, porridge, or smoothies. Mix it into pancake batter or fold it into baked goods. If you do not enjoy the texture, mix the ground seed into a sauce or a thick soup. Start with half a tablespoon a day for a week and then increase to 1 or 2 tablespoons to reduce bloating or gas. The fiber is the reason you may get digestive changes at first, so increase water intake alongside the seeds. For most adults, 1 to 2 tablespoons a day is safe. People on blood thinners should mention any major diet change to their doctor because plant omega-3 may add a mild blood thinning effect in some people. Pregnant women should check with their clinician before using concentrated flaxseed supplements. The seeds themselves used as food are fine for most people, but talk to your provider if you have special medical concerns. Expect to measure the effects at home and at the clinic. You may notice small drops in your home blood pressure readings within a month or two if your pressure was high to begin with. Your lipid panel will likely show modest falls in LDL and total cholesterol after 8 to 12 weeks. Those lab changes are the same markers used to estimate artery plaque growth over time. Combine the seeds with other heart-healthy moves and you are stacking practical, low-cost tools that work on the same pathways medicines target, but without replacing medicine unless your doctor decides that later. Flaxseed is not a magic bullet, but it is a simple, low-risk daily habit that moves the needle on LDL and blood pressure in ways that reduce heart risk when done consistently and sensibly. Number 2, chia seeds. Chia seeds are tiny, but they act like a slow-release assist for your blood vessels. A typical serving is 1 to 2 tablespoons a day, and that amount brings soluble fiber, plant omega-3 in the form of ALA, and gel-forming fiber that slows digestion. That slowed digestion helps blunt big spikes in blood sugar after a meal, which matters because repeated high blood sugar and high insulin over time damage artery walls and promote plaque. Chia also contributes to lowering LDL and shrinking inflammation, which are both central to clearing arteries and lowering the odds of a heart attack. When scientists pooled trials, the results point in the same direction. Across several randomized trials, people who added chia into their diets saw falls in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure compared with controls. The size of the average fall varied by study design and how long people used chia, but reductions of roughly 3 to 6 millimeters in systolic pressure have been reported in pooled analyses. That kind of drop is not negligible because each 2 millimeter drop in systolic pressure is linked to measurable reductions in heart disease risk when maintained. Chia's gel-forming property is one of the reasons people feel fuller when they use it. 2 tablespoons of chia mixed into a cup of milk or plant milk forms a pudding in 30 minutes to an hour. That pudding slows carbohydrate absorption and reduces hunger after a meal. Over months, that effect supports weight maintenance and helps keep blood sugar and blood pressure steadier. That steadying helps reduce the wear and tear on arteries. The seeds are also rich in ALA, which participates in the same anti-inflammatory pathways as flax ALA. They are easy to add. Sprinkle dry seeds over salads or cereal, mix them into yogurt, or prepare overnight oats or chia pudding at night for a ready-to-eat breakfast. Because chia swells in liquid, do not eat a spoonful of dry seeds and then drink. Give the seeds time to hydrate to avoid any throat tightness. Expect a modest but meaningful effect when chia is used daily with a sensible diet. In randomized controlled trials, durations ranged from several weeks to a few months, and investigators reported improvements across blood pressure, waist circumference, and some lipid measures in people with metabolic risk factors. People with existing hypertension saw larger benefits. If you are on blood pressure medication or medicines that change blood sugar, talk with your clinician before large dietary switches because the combination can amplify changes. Side effects for most people are limited to mild digestive changes during the first 2 to 3 weeks, and the usual caution about calorie density applies. A 2 tablespoon daily habit is a practical starting point that gives you steady fiber, ALA, and the gel benefit that together help clean arteries indirectly by lowering LDL, taming inflammation, and stabilizing blood pressure. Number 3, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds bring a specific set of compounds that show consistent benefit in blood pressure and lipid studies. They contain lignans such as sesamin, healthy unsaturated fats, phytosterols, and fiber. In trials and pooled reviews, replacing other fats with sesame oil or adding sesame products to the diet produced modest falls in systolic and diastolic blood pressure and improved cholesterol measures. The reductions varied by study and by how much sesame was used, but even small falls of 2 to 4 millimeters in blood pressure have public health meaning. That is because shifting the population average of blood pressure down a few millimeters reduces heart attacks and strokes across the group. Sesame's lignans appear to act on inflammatory pathways and on how the liver handles lipids, which explains why studies find improved LDL and total cholesterol in groups that use sesame as part of a controlled diet. You do not need to use large amounts to get benefit. Tahini, the paste made from ground sesame, is an easy single ingredient to add to smoothies, dressings, and sauces. Toasted sesame seeds sprinkled over salads or vegetables add flavor and a little crunch. When trials used sesame oil as a cooking oil, it tended to replace other vegetable oils rather than simply add extra fat. And that substitution pattern is important. Calories matter, so replacing an inferior fat with sesame yields the benefit without raising total calorie intake. In some clinical studies, adding sesame allowed reductions in blood pressure medicine dose when monitored by a doctor, which underscores that dietary changes can be powerful. If you use sesame alongside other heart-healthy moves, you get better results than using it alone because the seeds act on the same risk factors as medicines and lifestyle changes. In practice, aim for a modest daily amount akin to 1 to 2 tablespoons of tahini or a similar mass of seeds as part of your total fat intake. That habit supplies the lignans, unsaturated fats, and phytosterols that together help reduce LDL and soften blood pressure over weeks. Expect measurable but not dramatic changes in laboratory numbers. The value is steady improvement with little risk and with a pleasant flavor profile that makes it easy to keep the habit. If you take blood pressure or blood thinning medicines, check with your clinician when you make big diet changes. The seeds are safe for most adults and add a useful nutritional package to any heart-focused menu. Number 4, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are a concentrated source of minerals that directly affect the mechanics of blood pressure and vessel tone. A small handful of pumpkin seeds gives substantial magnesium and potassium plus arginine and plant protein. Magnesium helps blood vessels relax, and clinical reviews of magnesium supplements show average falls of about 3 to 4 millimeters in systolic pressure, when doses are in the several hundred milligrams range. Potassium helps the body excrete sodium, which lowers blood pressure. Arginine is the precursor for nitric oxide, a molecule the body uses to dilate arteries and lower pressure. Those 3 nutrients together support vessel flexibility, reduce mechanical stress on artery walls, and improve blood flow, which lowers the chance that plaque will rupture and cause a heart attack. Public-facing health organizations point out that just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds supplies a large fraction of a typical adult daily magnesium need, which explains why pumpkin seeds show up in dietary lists for blood pressure control. A practical daily portion is about 1 ounce or a small handful. Roast them unsalted and add to salads, soups, or breakfast bowls. If you prefer oil, the oil carries some of the same nutrients, but the whole seeds give you fiber and a slower absorption pattern that is better for satiety and for blood sugar control. In a small intervention trial, pumpkin seed oil reduced diastolic pressure and raised HDL in postmenopausal women over 12 weeks, which shows one route by which the seeds help heart markers. The seeds also offer plant protein and antioxidants, so you are supporting heart health on several fronts at once. If you have kidney disease, be careful about increasing potassium and talk to your provider. For the average adult, adding a daily handful is safe and delivers a measurable dose of minerals that lower pressure and support vessel health. Over months, you can expect modest reductions in home blood pressure readings and added benefit if you reduce processed salt intake and follow other dietary steps. Small daily choices like this add up because arteries respond to long-term nutrient patterns, not single meals. Number 5, hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are an easy source of balanced polyunsaturated fats, complete plant protein and arginine. The seeds' ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is roughly 3:1, which is close to what researchers often call a healthy range for inflammation control. The seeds supply ALA plus other polyunsaturated fats and phytosterols that help lower LDL and triglycerides. Hemp is also unusually rich in arginine, the amino acid the body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes vessels, lowers blood pressure, and improves blood flow. Early human trials and animal studies show improved markers of lipid oxidation and short-term drops in blood pressure when hemp components were used. The evidence base for hemp is smaller than for flax or chia, but it points to real potential, particularly when hemp is used as a regular food rather than a rare supplement. That combination of fatty acids, arginine, and plant sterols is why many nutrition experts include hemp on heart-focused food lists. PMC. 3 tablespoons of shelled hemp seeds provide about 8 to 11 grams of high-quality protein and deliver a useful dose of omega-3 and arginine. Add them to smoothies, yogurt, or cereal, and you get an easy protein boost plus fats that protect vessel lining. Clinical trials of hemp protein or hemp seed products have reported reductions in 24-hour systolic and diastolic blood pressure in mildly hypertensive volunteers over short interventions. Those trials are small and short, but they match the biological mechanism we expect from increased arginine and anti-inflammatory fats. The seeds are also useful because they are a complete plant protein which helps with weight control and metabolic health, both of which lower artery risk when maintained. As always, use seeds as part of a wider plan. The biggest gains come when seeds replace processed snacks and refined fats, and when you combine them with regular movement, better sleep, and avoiding smoking. Seeds are food, not medicine. If you take blood thinners, blood pressure drugs, or diabetes medication, talk with your clinician before making big changes. Start with 1 to 2 tablespoons a day and slowly raise to 2 to 3 as you adjust. Store hemp in the fridge to protect fragile oils. Number 6, sunflower seeds. Think of sunflower seeds as a simple, everyday snack that quietly helps your blood vessels work better. A small handful each day gives you several nutrients that matter for arteries and blood pressure. Sunflower seeds are high in unsaturated fats that replace saturated fats when you use them instead of butter or creamier spreads. They are a good source of vitamin E, which acts as an antioxidant in your bloodstream and helps protect the lining of arteries from damage. They also give you magnesium and some potassium, which help blood vessels relax and lower blood pressure, and they supply plant protein and fiber that help with weight control and with lowering cholesterol over time. In practical amounts, 1 ounce or about a small handful of shelled sunflower seeds will typically contain around 160 to 180 calories, roughly 5 to 7 grams of protein, about 3 grams of fiber, and roughly 13 to 15 grams of fat, most of which is unsaturated. That serving also gives you a useful share of daily vitamin E and a good portion of daily magnesium needs. Those numbers matter because the effects on heart risk are driven by steady, repeated changes to what you eat every day. If you replace an equal-calorie snack that is high in refined carbs or saturated fat with a handful of sunflower seeds every day, you are changing the fuel your body runs on in a way that favors cleaner arteries. How this helps your arteries can be seen in 3 linked actions. First, the unsaturated fats and plant sterols compete with cholesterol in the gut and reduce LDL absorption and production. That produces measurable falls in LDL cholesterol over months when people stick with the swap. Second, the vitamin E and other antioxidants reduce oxidative stress in vessel walls. Oxidative stress makes LDL particles more likely to damage the inner lining of an artery and start plaque formation. By lowering that stress, you slow one of the earliest steps in plaque development. Third, magnesium and potassium help relax smooth muscle in arteries, which lowers resting blood pressure. In simple terms, lower LDL means fewer building blocks for plaque, and lower blood pressure means less force pushing against plaque, so it is less likely to rupture and cause a heart attack. What to expect in everyday life if you use sunflower seeds regularly is gradual but real change. If you replace less healthy snacks with 1 ounce of sunflower seeds daily and keep other healthy habits, you can expect modest reductions in LDL over 2 to 3 months and small falls in systolic blood pressure, commonly in the range of 1 to 4 millimeters of mercury in generally healthy groups, and higher falls in people who start with high blood pressure. Those numbers are small when you look at a single day, but maintained they represent a meaningful cut in lifetime heart risk. Think of it like shifting the long-term trend line of your heart risk down just a bit and keeping it lower year after year. Using sunflower seeds is easy and flexible. Eat a handful as a mid-afternoon snack instead of chips or a candy bar. Sprinkle them on salads or soups, mix them into morning porridge, or blend them into sauces where they add texture and a mild nutty flavor. Toasting them lightly brings out more flavor, but avoid heavily salted snack mixes if you are watching blood pressure. A mix of seeds and a small portion of fruit makes a portable, balanced snack that keeps you full and steady on energy. There are a few safety notes. People with nut and seed allergies must be careful because cross reactions can occur. The calorie density means portion control matters if weight loss is a goal. If you are taking blood-thinning medication, mention increased vitamin E intake to your clinician, because in rare cases, high vitamin E supplements can affect clotting. For most people, though, a food intake of vitamin E from sunflower seeds is safe and helpful. Storage matters because the oils in seeds can go rancid. Keep a small bag in the fridge or freezer if you buy in bulk, and grind only small amounts when you want a seed butter or seed flour. If you want variety, rotate sunflower seeds with other heart-friendly seeds so you get a mix of nutrients across weeks. A simple real-world plan to try looks like this. Replace 1 processed snack a day with 1 ounce of sunflower seeds. Track that swap for a month and take 2 measurements of your blood pressure at home each week to see if you notice a downward trend. After 3 months, consider asking for a lipid panel to see how LDL and triglycerides have moved. Keep in mind that seeds work as part of a broader lifestyle pattern. Combine their use with more vegetables, less processed food, daily movement, and sleep that lets your body recover, and you will see the effects accumulate. Sunflower seeds are not a standalone cure, but they are a low-cost, low-effort tool that supports cleaner arteries and steadier blood pressure when used consistently. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more natural ways to protect your heart and boost your health. Share it with someone who could use these simple but powerful tips to live longer and feel better.